Hey guys, Doc Goldhog, and today I'm going to show you a little method for panning. I've put this up before, but I figured I want to cover it again real quick. And it's not that people necessarily do this wrong, but it's a better way to do it. And the problem is that experienced miners and experienced prospectors usually don't watch panning videos. That's why they don't learn this method. And I have to teach this to all my experienced prospectors, to all my commercial operators. I have to teach them this method. Whenever I go out and I do an event, I teach this method. Watch the gold shows. You ever see this? No, but they need to learn it. This is how you finish pan that final amount of gold out of black sand. It's the tap to the side method. So before we get started on this video real quick, I just wanted to say, if you haven't clicked the subscribe button down below, click the subscribe button. We got about 30 videos coming out, and it'll notify you when we upload them. The next thing, if you haven't watched the new flow pan video, watch the new flow pan video. It's a brand new product, really cool. Watch that video. I'll probably put a link to the flow pan video down in the description so you can see it too. Let's get out to this video. Now, I don't want to say that you're panning the wrong way, but what I am going to say is that there's a better way to pan, and I'm going to show you, especially when you get down to the little amount of black sand and gold left, of how to get that. Everybody, I see everyone swirl, swirl, swirl. That's what they do. They get down to the end and they swirl and they swirl. The problem with that is you still have layers. You have black sand and gold, black sand and gold. And when you swirl, you're taking off layers and you can push gold. So I'm going to show you how to get the gold out of those final little layers and over to one side real quick. I've done this before, but I want to do it again real quick. Okay, so you have to excuse me. I'm kind of using two cameras here, so I'm trying to stay on video and do this at the same time. So here I am. I've got a little bit of concentrates here, and let's pan these down real quick. So I'm just going to shake, shake, shake. All my gold is at the bottom. Take the lights off, take the lights off. When I see black sand, I stop. Or gold. Settle, 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 settle. Pan, 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 pan. If I see gold, I stop. Settle, settle, settle. And I get to a point where there's not a whole lot of blondes left. So what I'm going to do is, right now you can see that I've got almost all black sand in here. Almost all black sand and gold is starting to show up. So this is the problem point, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. What people normally do. Let me show you what people normally do. All right, when they normally do this, they're at this point. What they're going to do is they're going to take a pan and they're going to swirl. So they're going to swirl the water. And what you're going to see is that as you swirl, the gold is actually going to fall away with that swirl. And I'll get a little close-up on that. So as I'm swirling, let me come in here and show this over here. As I'm swirling, that gold is actually moving with that black sand when I swirl. So I'm really just pushing a lot of it back over here, okay? And that's not what I want to do. Let me show you again. So if I have this all up here, if I swirl it, I'm going to push that gold. I'm pushing that gold over here too. So let me show you a better way. Everyone knows my story of when I tell the story of driving down the road at 60 miles an hour with a bunch of heavy buckets in your truck. You slam on the brakes, what happens? The buckets slide to the front and hit the truck. That's the story I always use. It's inertia. It's basically that stored energy. The buckets are still going 60 miles an hour even though the truck is stopped. We're going to do the same thing with gold here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the truck moving down the road is kind of what I'd like to do. And I'm just going to use this hand here as a stopping point. And that's what I want you to think about. This hand really doesn't do anything. It just is a stopping point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap, 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 tap. And what you're going to eventually start to see is you're going to start to see that all my gold is going to be over here in this corner. So my gold will start to accumulate over there. Now, the important part to this is as I tap it, I actually tilt my pan a little bit as I'm tapping. Make that gold ride up. So let me do it again one more time. Tap, 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 tilt my pan. And you can start to see the gold that's accumulating over here. That's what I want. I want this gold over here on this side. So as I'm doing this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. You're going to see something. Get over here on this camera. What are you seeing on this? You're seeing that the side that I was tapping to over here has more of the gold inside of it. You see that over here? All the gold is going on there. So now what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make some green space. So I'm going to shake. I sort of shake the pan this way. And what I do is I make space up here. So I've made space up here. And I'm going to reverse this camera around so you can see it actually. So again, what I'm doing is I'm tilting my pan back a little bit, just a little shake. And now I've opened up green space. And now I'm going to tap here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put water over this. Water has to be over this. And I'm going to tap. And you're going to see something happen right there. See that gold line? See that gold line form? And so now what I can do, shake a little bit more. Need jet dry in here. Water over it. And now I got my line right. So now you can see that golden smile, as I call it over here. So I can take a sucker bottle and go suck this out. All right, so now if I want to use water to help clear this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the water and let it come down. Bring the water up, let it come down. And let these sands sort of pull away from here. Pull away from here. I'm not going to swirl, because if I swirl, everything's going to come over here. Pull the sands, come up over here, let it pull. I can even spread this out a little bit, get more of that black sand out. And what I'm doing is, of course, is I'm just letting that water fall straight down. Pull, straight down. Pull, straight down. You got that action? So again, now watch what happens. Watch what happens when I tap it with water over it. I get that golden line again. So that's really why what I want you to do. So when you get down to this final little amount in here, don't swirl your water. Don't swirl your water. Just get all this over here. Tap, 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 tap. Tilt your pan. Tilt it away. I'm leaning. Your gold is going to be up here. Now this works really well with fine gold. The harder gold is actually harder to catch in this method than it is the finer gold. I'm just letting you know that. It actually works better with fine gold. The finer, the better. This method works with. So I'm going to get it one more time. I'm going to get this other camera and shoot it so you can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hug this camera tripod here so you can see this. So there is my actual black sand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap, 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 tap. See the yellow smile coming up? Tilt away. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some green space. So I made some green space. Come up. Tap that gold. That gold will follow the tap. Make some more green space. There we go. Now I can just spread it out, let the water fall down over it. Gold's floating because I don't have jet dry in it. And now I got a clean line I can use a sucker bottle for. Alright, so one more time. Everyone does the same thing. Everyone gets that down to that little black sand there, and then what they do is they're going to do this method, and they're going to swirl, and they're going to swirl, and they're going to swirl. And this gold is actually going to pile up all the way around here. It's piling up all the way back over here. Pile that up. The gold is going to want to, as I swirl it, that gold is going to want to just move away, and you can see that all that gold is going back over here. It's not what I want. I want to concentrate it down. So here we go. Tap, 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 tap. Tilt the pan away from that tap, and you can see the gold corner up here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make some space. Come up, tap it. And then I'm going to have that yellow line up there. Now I can focus on that yellow line, and now I can actually go up and I can just tap more. So anyways, guys, that's just a quick tip. I wanted to get that out there. I teach this all the time whenever we do our outings or whenever we do something like that. I always teach this method. I talk about the truck. I talk about the heavy buckets in the back of the truck, getting that momentum, using that inertia. I want you to understand what we're doing here. So that tap method is the perfect way to see every ounce of gold. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'll get that out and get that gold out with a snuffer bottle. Then I'll go ahead and do that again. Rake it over, make the smile, do it again. 3 or 4 times later, I've got almost all my gold out of that, even the fine stuff. But guys, whether you're panning raw material or whether you're panning concentrates, you want to use this method. Just a little bit of water over it. You don't want too many cons. You want to get down to the point where you're just at that final amount, you know, where you have a couple of tablespoons left of black sand and gold. That's where you're going to use this. You're going to use this at that final method. Do whatever you want to get the other crap out of there. But once you get down to that final little amount of black sand and gold, use the tap, 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 tap. It'll all go to one side. Make some green space. Bring it down. Duck, go hog.